friends, and welcome back. I am so excited to see you. Today we are going to talk about different kinds of schooling. And the reason for this is that I've had many people reach out asking the question, what is the difference between public school, schooling from home, homeschooling, or unschooling? And I wanted to just clarify that, having worked in all of those capacities, just to kind of help us understand, especially when you're making a choice for your student or for your family, what all of those things entail. And then you don't have those misconceptions or lost expectations when you feel like you thought you were doing one thing, but you're finding out you're doing something else. So let's start with public school, brick and mortar public school. So when a student goes to brick and mortar public school, they get on the bus, they go to school, they learn at school, they bring homework home, and you help them with your homework. So that is a public school. It could also be a private school where they go to a brick and mortar private school. When you are schooling from home, the difference is that the public school system, probably the charter school like K-12 or Connections Academy, provides you with the curriculum, the technology, and teacher support to allow your student to learn from home with your support. But all of the curriculum, all of the grades, all of the attendance, all of that is dictated by the public school system. And so really what you're doing is, yes, you're schooling your child from home, but ultimately the people responsible for and held accountable by the state for your students' growth and learning are the teachers who are teaching your students, whatever grade they're in. And typically you will find that when you are schooling from home, students will have an online class daily, or maybe every other day with different subjects, maybe the same teacher but different teachers, just depending on what their needs are. If your student is struggling with reading or math or any of those things and needs an intervention, then even though you're schooling from home, you will be required, because you are in the public school system, to ensure that your student shows up for those classes and doesn't miss them, because otherwise it would be marked as missing that day, as not being in class that day. So that is schooling from home. So you have public school, going to public school, brick and mortar school, schooling from home, the same thing, only you're learning at home with support of the parent. Then we come to homeschooling. Now in homeschooling, the parent is able to choose the curriculum. You might choose a science curriculum from one spot, you might choose a math curriculum from a different spot, just depending on the methodologies that you appreciate in the way that things are taught and the way that you feel that your student will learn. You can kind of mix and match from different places, or you can purchase a homeschooling curriculum through a private homeschool like Calvert or Griggs International or places like that. And they will actually provide you a full year of multidisciplinary resources for you to teach your student. Now the difference with that is that you will be able to go at your own pace. You won't have to turn anything into the teacher necessarily. Sometimes they do require that you send in a monthly sample of what's going on with your student so that the teacher can give a grade. But typically you're responsible for attendance, for grading, for ensuring that your student is gaining the skills that are in that curriculum and making sure that you're going through it so that your student understands it. If you are unschooling, typically what that means is that you don't purchase a specific curriculum from any place. You don't go through it at a certain pace. The student is allowed a certain amount of freedom to experiment and learn from experiences. That doesn't mean they don't learn to read and write and all of those things, but students who are unschooled are exposed to a variety of experiences, a variety of adventures, a variety of learning, based on what the parent is able to give, or based on what groups the parent can involve them in. And so it's a little bit more freestyle, a little bit like Montessori, where the parent is the facilitator and the student is the one really in charge of their learning. Okay, so I hope that really helps us understand the difference. Schooling from home is still public school. It's just virtual. It is not actually going to brick and mortar school. So in my book, public school is both schooling from home and brick and mortar, because the curriculum will be exactly the same. The only difference is the space in which you learn it. You're still accountable to the state for attendance, grades, all of those things, and the teachers who teach your students are accountable. In homeschooling and unschooling, the parent, the learning partner, is more accountable for the attendance, the grades, ensuring the skill acquisition, and so on. If you have any questions, please reach out. You can always email me at connectedplanetlearning@gmail.com. See you soon. Bye.